Listen to me. Life is not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you decide to raise up and rise strong. Every single one of you was built for more than survival. You were designed to conquer, to create, to inspire, and to lead. But you can't rise strong if you keep letting your circumstances define you. You rise when you define yourself. Talking to that person who's been holding their dream hostage because fear whispered, "We're not ready." I came to tell you today, you are ready. You've always been ready. You just have to raise up and decide that your moment starts now. Stop waiting for a perfect time. There is no perfect time. There's only a powerful decision. And that decision to rise will separate the talkers from the doers, the watchers from the winners, and the quitters from the conquerors. When life knocks you down, don't just get back up. Get up stronger, wiser, and more determined. Because the world doesn't need another average dreamer. The world needs a fighter, a believer, a mover who can look at adversity and say, "You will not stop me. I'm built for this." So today it's not about who hurt you, who left you, or what went wrong. It's about who you're becoming. Raise up and rise strong, because your story isn't over. It's just getting started. The power of decision is the birthplace of every transformation. Every great change in human history began with someone who made a decision. Not a wish, not a plan, not a half-hearted attempt, but a real solid, unshakable decision that they would not remain the same. You see, most people don't fail because they're weak or because they lack talent. They fail because they never fully decide. They live in a maybe. They live in a someday as a lie that robs you of today. The moment you decide, truly decide, you flip the switch from possibility to purpose, from hesitation to motion. When you make a decision, you separate yourself from the crowd, because the crowd waits. They wait for signs, for permission, for comfort. But the few, the powerful, the ones who rise strong, they decide. They don't need the stars to align. They align their spirit with their vision and move anyway. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. Dreams without decisions are fantasies. But once you decide, you begin to turn the invisible into the visible. The power of decision changes the way you walk, talk, and think. It gives you clarity in chaos. When the world tells you to sit down, decision gives you the courage to stand tall. You can't rise strong if you're undecided about who you are and what you want. Every giant you'll ever face, doubt, failure, can be conquered the moment you decide to no longer bother it. Decision is not about feeling brave. It's about committing even when you feel afraid. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage whispers, "I'll try again tomorrow." That whisper is a decision too. Think about it. The reason some people stay stuck is because they keep postponing the moment of choice. They say, "I'll start when I'm ready." But readiness is a myth. You will never be 100% ready. The conditions will never be perfect. But when you decide, your decision makes the conditions irrelevant. The world bends to the will of a committed mind. Every door that seemed closed starts to open because your decision changes your energy. And your energy changes your environment. When I talk about decision, I'm not talking about wishful thinking. I'm talking about burning the boats. When you decide, you don't keep a backup plan. You don't say, "If it doesn't work, I'll quit." No. When you decide, you cut off every escape route. You say, "This is it. This is who I am. This is what I'm doing." That's when your brain, your body, your soul align toward one purpose. That's when miracles happen. Because commitment is magnetic. It pulls resources, people, and opportunities towards you. The universe responds to a made-up mind. Look at every champion, every legend, every world changer. They all had that moment of decision. Martin Luther King decided he would not remain silent. Nelson Mandela decided he would not give up on freedom. Steve Jobs decided that innovation would be his legacy. Oprah decided she would rise above her circumstances. They weren't born great. They became great through decision. And once they decided, they never looked back. You have that same power. Inside you, there's a decision waiting to be made that can change everything. Maybe it's to start that business, to go back to school, to forgive yourself, to walk away from a toxic relationship, to believe again after being broken. Whatever it is, you already know it in your heart. You just haven't decided yet. And every day you delay, you give your power away. But the moment you decide, your power comes rushing back. Decision doesn't mean you'll have it easy. It doesn't mean you'll never doubt or struggle. But decision gives you direction. It gives your pain a purpose, your effort a focus, and your time a target. Decision turns chaos into clarity. You stop wandering and start building. You stop wishing and start working. Because decision removes confusion. Once you decide, you stop asking, should I? And start asking, how can I? That's a powerful shift. When you wake up every day undecided, you waste your energy on uncertainty. You doubt yourself, you second guess, you hesitate. And hesitation kills progress. But when you wake up decided, really decided, you move differently. You stop negotiating with excuses. You don't need motivation every morning because your mission fuels you. You've already chosen your direction, and now every action aligns with that choice. I want you to understand something. The world respects decision. The moment you decide, you begin to attract other decisive people. Leaders follow leader, not the uncertain. You will never lead while waiting for someone else to choose for you. You've got to decide to be the driver, not the passenger. Your destiny doesn't move until you do. Decision is the ignition key. You can have the most powerful engine, the best map, and the perfect weather. But until you turn that key, until you decide, you're going nowhere. Some of you have been praying for change, crying for change, begging for change, but you haven't decided to change. God, the universe, life, whatever you believe in, will meet you halfway. But first, you must decide to take the step. You can't walk into a new chapter holding on to indecision. The blessing you're asking for is waiting on your commitment. When you decide, fear loses its voice. You still feel it, but it no longer commands you. Decision builds momentum, and momentum silences doubt. Once you move, the fear starts to fade because progress gives you proof. You start seeing results, you start feeling power, and suddenly you realize you've always had what it takes. The only thing missing was your decision. So ask yourself right now, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for more time? You won't get it. Are you waiting for more confidence? It comes after decision, not before it. Are you waiting for someone to tell you it's okay? You may never hear it. The truth is, your moment begins when you decide it does. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next year. Now, because every delay is a decision too. A decision to stay the same. You gotta decide that your dream matters more than your doubt. That your purpose matters more than your path. That your future matters more than your fear. Because the moment you decide, you take control. Life no longer happens to you, it happens through you. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop waiting for opportunity and start building it. You stop chasing approval and start chasing purpose. Decision is a declaration. It says, I am not my circumstances. I am my choices. You may not be able to control where you start, but you can decide where you finish. You may not control what people say about you, but you can decide what you believe about yourself. That's the power of decision. It gives you the pen to rewrite your story. There's someone out there right now who's living the life you dream of. Not because they're smarter or luckier, but because they decided to start when you hesitated. They decided to act when you analyzed. They decided to risk when you reasoned. The difference isn't talent, it's decision. The day you decide, you join that small group of people who make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. So right now, raise up. Make the decision that your past will not define your potential. Decide that you will no longer play small, that you will no longer hide your gift, that you will no longer waste your days waiting for one day. Decide that this is your day. Decide to rise strong, because strength isn't given, it's chosen. Power isn't inherited, it's decided. Every breakthrough begins with that one moment of decision when you say, I'm done settling, I'm done doubting, I'm done waiting, I'm ready. That's the moment everything changes. Not because the world gets easier, but because you get strong. You rise above the noise, the fear, the limitations, and you step into your power. When you walk out of indecision, you walk into destiny. Your choice is your creation. Your decision is your declaration. So don't waste another sunrise wondering if you can. Decide that you will. Don't wait for someone to choose you. Choose yourself. Because the greatest rise begins not with applause, not with luck, but with one powerful, fearless decision. I'm going to make it happen. So stand up, look at your reflection and say it. I decided to grow. I decided to fight. I decide to believe. I decide to rise. And once you decide, never look back. Because when a human being makes a real decision, Nothing on earth can stop them from rising strong. Unshakable belief. That's the foundation of every person who ever rose from nothing and created something extraordinary. Belief is not a soft word. It's not wishful thinking. It's power in motion. It's the force that keeps you moving when logic says stop. When you have unshakable belief, you become unstoppable because you no longer measure yourself by what you see, but by what you know deep within. You see, the world doesn't give you belief. It tests it. It will challenge you, question you, and sometimes laugh at you. But those with belief stand tall because they know that the greatest battles happen before the greatest breakthrough. Belief is that inner voice that whispers you can when everyone else says you can't. It's the fire that burns inside you when your circumstances are cold. When people doubt you, belief is your defense. When doors close, belief is your key. When storms rage, belief is your anchor. You can lose money, you can lose opportunities, you can even lose people. But if you keep your belief, you will always rise again. Because belief gives birth to resilience, and resilience brings results. You can't rise strong without belief. Every dream, every goal, every mission begins in the mind. Before you can do it, you have to believe it. That's the order of success. Faith first, evidence later. The problem with most people is that they wait for proof before they believe. They say, I believe it when I see it, but that's not how greatness works. Greatness says, I'll see it because I believe it. You have to carry faith when there's no proof. You have to trust your vision when no one else sees it. That's what separates those who make history from those who watch it. Belief is not about arrogance. It's about awareness. It's knowing that you were created with purpose and power. It's realizing that what's inside you is greater than what's against you. Unshakable belief doesn't mean you never feel fear. It means you move forward, even when fear is present. It's a decision to trust your potential more than your problem. You may not have all the answers, but you have the ability to find them. That's what belief says. Well, I may not know how yet, but I know I will. Think about every person who made a mark in this world. They all had unshakable belief. When no one believed in their vision, they did. When people said impossible, they replied, watch me. They turned rejection into redirection, doubt into drive, and fear into fuel. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before he made the light bulb. Do you think he kept going because it was easy? No, he believed. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination. He believed anyway. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school team. He believed anyway. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. She believed anyway. Belief turns critics into motivation and setbacks into setups. No, unshakable belief isn't built overnight. It's built through challenges, disappointments, and growth. Every time you fail but decide to try again, your belief grows roots. Every time you face fear but keep walking, your belief gets stronger. Every time you doubt yourself but still move forward, your belief becomes unshakable. Belief is not found in comfort. It's forged in fire. It's not about always knowing. It's about never giving up on what you know in your heart. And let me tell you something. People will doubt you. They'll call you crazy for believing in something bigger than your situation. But that's okay. They're supposed to doubt you. Their doubt is your opportunity to demonstrate your faith. You don't owe them proof. You owe yourself progress. The moment you start believing in yourself, truly believing, the world starts to shift because confidence is contagious. When you believe in yourself, you give others permission to believe in themselves too. Belief is energy. It changes how you show up. When you believe, you walk differently, talk differently, think differently. You start seeing solutions instead of problems. You see possibility where others see impossibility. You don't wait for doors to open. You build your own. That's the power of unshakable belief. It transforms your mindset, and your mindset transforms your reality. The truth is, every limitation begins in the mind. If you believe you can't, you won't. But if you believe you can, you'll find a way. Your belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You attract what you believe you deserve. That's why you must protect your belief at all costs. Don't let negative voices rent space in your head. Don't let doubt dictate your destiny. Surround yourself with people who speak life, not fear. Feed your faith every day through words, through action, through focus. When you face obstacles, your belief will be tested. Life will ask you, do you still believe? When the plan falls apart, when people walk away, when results don't show up, that's when belief is most important. Because belief is not proven in success, it's proven in struggle. When everything looks impossible, belief reminds you I've come too far to quit now. It's that voice that says, I didn't come this far just to come this far. It's that spark that refuses to die. Unshakable belief is not blind. It's bold. It sees the reality but focuses on the possibility. It acknowledges the mountain but keeps climbing anyway. It knows that faith without work is empty, but work without faith is powerless. You need both. You work hard, but you also believe hard. You push forward, but you also trust that what's meant for you will meet you when you keep showing up. There's something powerful that happens when you start believing in yourself. Your mind expands. You start to see opportunities that were always there, but hidden by doubt. You begin to recognize your own strength. You stop begging for validation because your belief becomes your validation. You stop competing with others because your belief teaches you that your lane is yours. You start to move with purpose. And that's when everything starts aligning. You must understand, belief is built daily. It's not a one-time declaration, it's a daily choice. Every morning you have to choose belief over fear, faith over doubt, progress over perfection. Because your belief will determine your behavior, and your behavior will determine your breakthrough. When you believe you can, you'll take action even when it's uncomfortable. When you doubt you can, you'll hesitate and miss your moment. Your mind creates your movement. Let me make it plain. Your belief sets your boundaries. You'll never rise higher than what you believe is possible. If you believe you're average, you'll settle for average. If you believe you're capable of greatness, you'll chase greatness. That's why belief is more important than skill. Because belief pushes you to develop the skill. Belief pushes you to learn, to grow, to evolve. It's the seed that starts the process. Some of you are waiting for the world to believe in you before you start. But hear me, the world believes in those who believe in themselves. You want people to trust your dream? Show them your belief. When people see how convinced you are, they'll start to catch the vision. You don't need everyone's support. You just need your belief to be louder than their doubt. Because once you believe, the right people will find you. Belief is also about identity. It's about knowing who you are, even when the world tries to define you. You are not your mistakes, your failures, or your past. You are your potential. You are your persistence. You are your purpose. And belief keeps you connected to that truth. The world may forget your worth, but belief reminds you every single day you are enough. You are capable. You are chosen. When you build that kind of belief, no setback can destroy you. You may bend, but you won't break. You may stumble, but you'll always rise again. Because belief gives you bounce back power. It gives you the ability to keep moving forward, even when everything tells you to stop. And that's what rising strong is all about. It's about standing in your belief when everything around you shakes. There's going to be moments when your faith is all you have. No results, no applause, no clarity, just belief. But that's enough. Because belief creates momentum, and momentum creates miracles. Every champion has had that season of isolation, that season of struggle, that season where belief was the only thing keeping them alive. And they made it, not because it was easy, but because they refused to stop believing. So I'm asking you today, what do you believe? Do you believe you can rise? Do you believe your dream matters? Do you believe you were made for more? Because the way you answer that question will shape your entire life. Stop shrinking your dreams to fit your doubt. Start expanding your belief to match your destiny. The moment you build unshakable belief, life changes. Challenges become training. Failure becomes feedback. Delays become development. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance and start seeing yourself as a vessel of purpose. You stop saying, why me? And start saying, try me. You stop waiting for signs and start becoming one. Unshakable belief is the armor that protects you from fear, the engine that drives you toward your goals, and the light that guides you through darkness. When you believe you are already halfway there, your belief creates the bridge from where you are to where you're meant to be. And when that belief becomes unshakable, when nothing can move it, you become unstoppable. So believe even when it's hard. Believe even when you're tired. Believe even when you're tired. Courage over comfort. That's the choice every successful person has had to make. It's easy to stay where it feels safe, to keep doing what's familiar, to live within the walls of what you already know. But nothing extraordinary grows in the soil of comfort. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it kills progress in the long run. You can't rise strong if you're always protecting your comfort zone. You can't discover your true strength until you're willing to be uncomfortable. Growth demands courage, and courage means doing it afraid. Comfort is the silent dream killer. It doesn't attack you. It doesn't scream. It simply lulls you into a sleep where your potential never wakes up. You say, I'll do it later, or I'm not ready. And before you know it, years have passed. Comfort convinces you that average is enough, that it's okay to settle, because at least you're not struggling. But deep down, you know that safety feels like prison when you're built for purpose. You weren't made to stay in the shallow end of life. You were built to dive deep, to risk, to rise. Courage, on the other hand, is uncomfortable. It's messy, it's uncertain, but it's the birthplace of everything great. Every time you choose courage, you expand your capacity. You stretch your limits. You unlock parts of yourself you never knew existed. Courage is not about the absence of fear. It's about moving forward despite it. You can feel afraid and still take the step. You can feel unsure and still make the decision. Courage is that whisper inside you saying, I don't know what's ahead, but I'll go anyway. When you choose courage over comfort, you're telling the world, I refuse to stay small. You're saying, I'm willing to feel the fear and do it anyway. Most people wait for confidence before they act. But confidence doesn't come before action, comes after it. You build confidence by doing the things that scare you, grow strong by facing what makes you weak. Courage is the bridge between who you are now and who you're meant to be. Think about it. Every breakthrough in history came from someone who chose courage over comfort. Every invention, every movement, every transformation started with a person who was willing to leave the familiar and walk into the unknown. They didn't have guarantees. They had guts. They didn't have comfort. They had conviction. And because they were bold enough to take that step, they changed their lives. And sometimes the world. Comfort is predictable. Courage is powerful. When you live in comfort, you control your environment. You know what's coming next. But in courage, you surrender that control to gain something greater. Growth? You learn more from the unknown than you ever will from what's familiar. The unknown is where you discover your limits and then break them. It's where fear meets faith and fear loses. It's where you stop existing and start truly living. Let me tell you something. Courage doesn't always look loud. It's not always about grand gestures or huge risks. Sometimes courage is quiet. It's getting out of bed after a hard day. It's trying again after fail. It's saying no when everyone expects you to say yes. It's walking away from something that no longer serves you. Courage is being honest with yourself. It's facing the truth, even when it hurts. It's saying, I deserve more, and doing what it takes to get it. Comfort will give you excuses. Courage will give you evidence. Comfort says, oh, what if it doesn't work? Courage says, oh, what if it does? Comfort says, oh, you failed before. Courage says, that's exactly why you win this time. Comfort says, stay here, it's safe. Courage says, and move forward. Words worth it. Every time you choose courage, you rewrite your story. You trade fear for faith and doubt for destiny. And yes, courage comes with pain, with risk, with uncertainty, but it also brings freedom, because nothing changes you more than comfort. The moment you get too comfortable, life stops moving. You stop evolving. You stop growing. You start existing instead of living. That's why people who rise strong are never the ones who play it safe. They're the ones who step out, fail, learn, and keep going. Because they understand that comfort might protect you from pain, but it will also protect you from progress. Courage is not a one-time act. It's a daily choice. Every single day, life will give you two doors, one labeled to comfort, the other labeled to courage. And the path you choose determines your destiny. Comfort gives you temporary relief. Courage gives you permanent growth. Comfort keeps you where you are. Courage takes you where you belong. You can't have both. You must choose. Choosing courage over comfort means saying yes to discomfort, yes to uncertainty, yes to being stretched. It's saying, I'm okay not knowing how it will all work out, but I'm trusting that it will. It's understanding that your destiny won't show up at your doorstep. You have to go meet it. And the journey there will challenge you, test you, and sometimes even scare. It's how you rise when you choose courage, even when comfort calls your name. Sometimes courage means letting go of habits, people, or places that no longer fit your growth. You can't take everyone with you when you rise. Some people are attached to your old version. not your new vision. Courage means loving yourself enough to move forward, even if it means walking alone. Comfort clings to familiarity. Courage clings to faith. And when you choose courage, you realize that solitude is not loneliness. It's strength in disguise. Courage also demands vulnerability. You can't rise strong behind the mask. You gotta be real. Real with yourself, real with your journey, real with your struggle. Because courage thrives in authenticity. When you hide behind perfection, you protect your ego but lose your evolution. But when you open up, when you show up imperfect but willing, you give yourself permission to grow. The truth is, courage will never feel comfortable. It will stretch your limits, make your heart race, and sometimes make you question your sanity. But that's how you know you're growing. Every time you feel fear, it means you're standing at the border between your old self and your new one. And if you could just take one more step, just one more, you'll break through. It's not the size of the step that matters, it's the direction. Every small act of courage compounds. Every uncomfortable decision builds momentum. Every risk you take adds a new layer of strength. You don't become brave overnight. You become brave one choice at a time. Every day you choose courage, you build the muscle of resilience. And one day, the things that used to scare you won't anymore. The people who achieve greatness aren't fearless. They just refuse to be ruled by fear. They've learned to use fear as fuel. They've learned that being comfortable is part of becoming unstoppable. They've learned that courage is not a moment, it's a mindset. Once you adopt that mindset, your life transforms. You stop waiting for confidence, for permission, for guarantees. You stop seeking approval. You simply act, you move, you believe. And that's when you rise strong. Every time you face a choice between courage and comfort, remember this: comfort keeps you the same. Courage makes you better. Comfort keeps you grounded. Courage gives you wings. Comfort is predictable. Courage is powerful. Comfort whispers, stay safe. Courage shouts, go live. Your comfort zone is where dreams go to die, but courage is where they come alive. If you want to see what you're truly capable of, step into discomfort. Volunteer for the challenge. Sign up for the hard thing. Speak when you're afraid. Show up when you feel unqualified. Do it before you're ready. Because if you only do what's easy, you'll always stay the same. The hardest road will always lead to the highest mountain. And at the top of that mountain, you'll realize courage didn't just change your life, it changed you. Courage over comfort means betting on yourself. It means believing that your potential is worth the risk. It means knowing that failure is not the end. It's feedback. It's redirection. It's preparation for something greater. The people who live full lives are not the ones who played it safe. They're the ones who said, I'd rather fail chasing purpose than succeed staying comfortable. One day, you'll look back at all the moments that scared you, the leaps you took, the times you almost quit but did. And you'll realize that those were the moments that shaped you. Not the easy days, not the comfortable choices, but the courageous ones. Because every strong person you admire was once a scared person who decided to act anyway. So today, make the decision. Don't let comfort control your life. Don't let fear write your story. Choose courage. Choose growth. Choose the unknown. Because courage is where your power lives. Courage is where your purpose grows. Courage is where your greatness is born. And when you keep choosing courage over comfort every single day, you rise higher. You'll rise higher than you ever thought possible. When life hits hard, when the weight of disappointment feels unbearable, most people think that's the end of their story. But that's the exact moment when true strength is born. You see, strength isn't built when everything is going right. It's forged in the fire of adversity. The fourth keynote of Find Power and Perseverance is about that unbreakable spirit that refuses to quit no matter how tough the storm gets. Perseverance isn't about moving fast. It's about refusing to stop. It's about continuing even when your legs are trembling. Your heart is heavy and your mind whispers that you can't take another step. That's when you have to look within yourself and find that quiet, fierce voice that says, keep going. Eric Thomas often says, you can't be great if you quit every time it gets hard. That's the essence of perseverance, staying the course when others walk away. Life will test you. It will throw you down, doubt you, and drain you. But it will also give you a choice. Stay down or rise stronger. The people who win in life aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who refuse to stay down. Every setback, every failure, every closed door is just a lesson designed to make you tougher, wiser, and hungrier. Perseverance transforms weakness into strength and obstacles into opportunity. There's a reason diamonds are so valuable. They're created under extreme pressure. The same applies to human greatness. Without pressure, there is no polish. Without resistance, there is no power. So when you face opposition, understand that it's part of your growth. The pressure you feel today is building the foundation for the success you'll experience tomorrow. You have to keep showing up, even when the odds are stacked against you. Because every time you show up, you prove to the world and to yourself that you are unstoppable. Think about any great success story. Athletes, entrepreneurs, or leaders. What they all share is in luck or talent, or relentless perseverance. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. J.K. Rowling faced rejection after rejection before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before he invented the light bulb. What if they had quit? What if they had believed the world when it said no? The truth is, perseverance is what separates dreamers from doers. It's the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, every goal remains a fantasy. With it, no dream is impossible. But perseverance isn't just about big moments. It's about the small, consistent actions you take every single day. It's about waking up when you don't feel like it, putting in the work when no one is watching, and staying faithful to your mission even when results don't come immediately. It's power in showing up daily with determination. Each day you persist, you build momentum. Each day you keep pushing forward, you strengthen your belief in yourself. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's built through years of persistence, patience, and unshakable faith. Many people give up right before their breakthrough. They stop digging just before they hit goal. They lose sight of how far they've come because they're too focused on how far they have to go. That's where perseverance demands a higher level mindset. You have to believe that your hard work will pay off. Even if you can't see it yet, you must trust the process. Growth is invisible before it becomes visible. The seeds you plant today might take time to bloom, but they will bloom if you don't stop watering them. Perseverance also means learning to adapt. Life doesn't always go as planned, and that's okay. When doors close, you find windows. When paths get blocked, you make new ones. The key is to keep moving forward. Every step counts, no matter how small. The journey isn't about perfection, it's about progression. And every time you push through difficulty, you develop resilience. You start realizing that nothing can break you unless you let it. Perseverance gives you that inner armor, the strength to stand tall when everything else falls apart. Sometimes perseverance isn't loud. It doesn't always look like massive success or public victory. Sometimes it's quiet. It's a single mother working 2 jobs to provide for her kid. A student studying late into the night despite exhaustion. An entrepreneur taking one more risk after countless failures. Those acts of endurance, though unseen, shape the strongest versions of ourselves. True perseverance is personal. It's what you do when no one is cheering, when no one believes, and when there's no guarantee of success. That's the real test of your spirit. Perseverance also connects deeply with faith, not necessarily religious faith, but the faith that your efforts are not in vain. The belief that what you're fighting for matters. The conviction that your purpose is worth every ounce of energy you pour into it. When you hold on to that belief, even the hardest challenges can't break you. You might bend, you won't break. You might slow down, but you'll never stop. That's what rising strong truly means. It's not about avoiding the fall. It's about learning to stand taller each time you rise. At the heart of perseverance lies a powerful truth. Consistency beats intensity. You don't have to give your all once. You have to give your best every day. That's how mountains are moved. That's how dreams are built. Eric Thomas always reminds his audience, don't cry to quit, cry to keep going. Your tears, your sweat, your struggle, they're not signs of weakness. They're signs of your fight. You're still standing, still believing, still working. That's perseverance in action. And let's be real, perseverance is not easy. It will demand everything from you. It will test your patience, challenge your focus, and question your commitment. But it will also reward you in ways you can't imagine. Because once you've pushed through something that was meant to break you, you realize your power. You realize how strong you really are. Perseverance doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes you. It transforms your mindset, expands your limits, and teaches you that you can survive and thrive through anything. So the next time life knocks you down, remember that it's not over. Every fall is a setup for a stronger comeback. Every delay is preparing you for greater success. Keep going when it's hard. Keep believing when it's dark. Keep fighting when it feels impossible. That's where growth happens. That's where transformation begins. Perseverance is the heartbeat of every champion. It's what keeps you moving forward when your body is tired, your mind is weary, and your heart is broken. When you persevere, you inspire others too. People around you see your strength, your consistency, your resilience, and it gives them permission to fight for their own dreams. Your perseverance becomes a ripple effect of hope. You might not even realize it, but your example could be the light someone else needs to keep going. So rise up. Rise strong. Find power in perseverance. Let it be your armor and your fuel. Don't wait for things to get easier. Get stronger through them. Life is not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you refuse to stay down. You're built for more. You're capable of more. And when you persevere, you don't just survive. You evolve. You become the version of yourself that was always meant to shine. Keep pushing. Keep believing. Keep rising. Your victory is closer than you think. In a world where everyone seems to be running a race against time, chasing success, money, validation, or fame, many people forget one of life's greatest truths. Everything meaningful begins within. The fifth keynote, a strength in your mindset. It's not about pretending that life is easy. It's about training your mind to be stronger than your circumstances, your doubts, and your fears. Because no matter how talented, skilled, or passionate you are at the right mindset, you will always limit your potential. The battlefield of success isn't out there, it's in your mind. What happens in your thoughts determines what happens in your life. Eric Thomas often said, you will never be the best version of yourself until you master your mind. That's because your mind controls your focus, your energy, and your choices. Every great achievement starts with a decision, a mental shift where you say, I can, even when everything around you says you can't. The strength of your mindset determines whether you quit when it gets tough or push through until you win. And the truth is, life will test you again and again. But if your mindset is firm, no storm can shake your foundation. Strengthening your mindset means taking control of your thoughts. It means refusing to let negativity, fear, or doubt run your life. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. Every challenge, every failure, every setback can either weaken you or sharpen you. It depends on your mindset. When you face hardship with a weak mind, you see obstacles. But when you face it with a strong mind, you see opportunities to grow, to learn, and to rise high. You have to train your mind like a muscle. The same way athletes train their bodies, successful people train their thoughts. You have to feed your mind with positivity, discipline, and purpose every single day. If you constantly tell yourself you're not good enough, you'll start believing it. But if you remind yourself that you're capable, strong, and destined for more, your actions will start aligning with that belief. That's the power of mindset. It shapes your reality. A strong mindset doesn't mean you won't feel fear, doubt, or anxiety. It means you won't let those feelings control you. You'll acknowledge them, face them, and move forward anyway. When life hits, your mind has to be your anchor, not your enemy. You can't afford to let negative thoughts destroy what you're building. The greatest victories are won by people who refuse to surrender mentally. They understand that the real fight happens long before the results show up. It happens in the quiet moments when no one is watching, when quitting feels easier, when progress feels slow, and when hope feels distant. If you want to rise strong, you must guard your mind from the noise of the world. We live in an age where everyone has an opinion, where negativity spreads faster than truth, and where comparison steals peace. If you're not careful, you'll start measuring your worth by someone else's success. A strong mindset knows how to stay focused. It doesn't get distracted by what others are doing. It stays locked in on purpose, on goals, and on progress. Eric Thomas talks about the I can mentality, the belief that no matter the situation, you can find a way. That's not arrogance. It's confidence rooted in persistence. A strong mindset believes that if you can't go through the door, you'll climb through the window. If you can't find a way, you'll make one. That kind of thinking turns obstacles into stepping stones. It's what transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. But you can't build that kind of mindset overnight. It takes daily work. You must challenge your thinking every day. Ask yourself, are my thoughts helping me or hurting me? Am I feeding my fears or my faith? Am I focusing on what I can control or wasting energy on what I can't? Strengthening your mindset is a lifelong process. It's about replacing old, limiting beliefs with new, empowering ones. It's about rewriting the story in your head until it matches the greatness within you. Sometimes your mindset is the only thing you have left when everything else falls apart. There will be days when nothing seems to work. Your plans fail, people leave, and the results you expected don't come. That's when your mindset becomes your greatest weapon. A strong mind will tell you, this is not the end. Keep going, keep fighting. You are closer than you think. And if you listen to that voice long enough, you'll realize it was right. The truth is, your mind is the most powerful tool you own, but it can also be your biggest obstacle. Most people lose the battle because they've already accepted defeat in their thoughts before they even try. They say, I can't. It's too late. It's too hard. But the ones who rise, the ones who create change, are those who decide to think differently. They replace I can't with I will. They replace it's too late with it's my time. They replace it's too hard with I'm built for this. That's how you transform your life from the inside out. When you strengthen your mindset, you stop chasing temporary motivation and start building permanent confidence. Motivation fades, but mindset lasts. You won't wake up every day feeling powerful or inspired. Some days you'll feel exhausted, lost, or frustrated. But when your mind is strong, you don't need to feel like doing something to get it done. You act from commitment, not emotion. You move because you said you would. That's mental toughness, the ability to stay consistent when feelings fade. One of the most powerful things you can do for your mindset is to control your environment. Surround yourself with people who speak life into you, who challenge you to grow, who remind you of your purpose when you forget. The people you spend time with shape your thoughts more than you realize. If you're always around negativity, doubt, and drama, you'll absorb that energy. But if you're around positivity, ambition, and growth, you'll rise to that level. Protect your energy, protect your peace. Your mindset also determines how you view failure. A weak mind sees failure as final, but a strong mind sees it as feedback. Every failure teaches you something if you're willing to learn. Failure doesn't define you. Every setback is preparing you for a greater comeback. That's how powerful mindset works. It transforms loss into lessons and struggle into strength. You have to decide who's in control, you or your circumstances. When your mindset is strong, life can throw its worst at you, but you'll still find a way to keep standing. You'll still choose faith over fear, progress over pity, and growth over excuses. Because a strong mind doesn't crumble under pressure. It thrives under it. The storms don't break you, they build you. The obstacles don't stop you, they shape you. The delays don't destroy you, they develop you. The beauty of strengthening your mindset is that it doesn't just change your external life, transforms your inner peace. When your mind is strong, you stop reacting to every problem with panic. You start responding with purpose. You begin to trust yourself more, to believe that no matter what happens, you'll figure it out. That kind of self-trust is power. That kind of peace is freedom. You don't need everything to be perfect to have a strong mindset. You just need to be determined to keep growing, keep learning, and keep believing. Every time you overcome a negative thought, you build mental muscle. Every time you replace fear with faith, you strengthen your spirit. And every time you choose perseverance over giving up, you prove that your mindset is evolving. So decide today that your mind will no longer be your weakness. It will be your weapon. Decide that no matter what happens, you will not be broken by circumstances, but built by them. Fill your mind with gratitude, with belief, with possibility. Train your focus on the things that matter and let go of everything that doesn't serve your growth. The world may try to break your spirit, but if your mind is strong, nothing can hold you down. You are not your circumstances. You are your mindset. And when your mind is strong, you rise above every challenge, every doubt, every fear. That's how you raise up and rise strong. Not because life gets easier, but because you become unshakable. Your mindset becomes your foundation, your fuel, and your freedom. And once your mind is right, everything else will follow. Surround yourself with greatness speaks to one of the most powerful yet often overlooked truths about success. The people around you shape your destiny. Your environment can either lift you higher or pull you down. You can have dreams, discipline, and desire. But if you spend your time with people you don't believe, don't push, and don't grow, you'll eventually find yourself shrinking to fit their comfort zone. Eric Thomas always emphasizes that success isn't a solo journey, it's a team effort. The company you keep determines the energy you carry, and the energy you carry determines how far you'll go. Surrounding yourself with greatness isn't about chasing famous or wealthy people. It's about aligning yourself with individuals who reflect the qualities you aspire to develop. It's about being around those who challenge you, who make you uncomfortable in the best way, who force you to level up because their standard is excellence. When you walk with lions, you learn to roar. But if you walk with sheep, you'll learn to settle. The people in your circle will either ignite your fire or extinguish it. So choose wisely. Think about it. Your friends, family, coworkers, or even mentors, all of them influence how you think, how you act, and how you see yourself. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, doubt, or laziness, you'll eventually start mirroring that energy without even realizing it. But when you surround yourself with positive, motivating, and purpose-driven people, their energy becomes contagious. They push you to be better, to think bigger, to believe in yourself when you start to doubt. That's the power of environment. It can transform your mindset faster than almost anything else. Eric Thomas often says, if you hang around 5 motivated people, you'll be the 6th. If you hang around 5 broke people, you'll also be the 6th. That's not arrogance. It's true. Your circle is your reflection. The people closest to you are a mirror showing who you are becoming. If you want to grow, look around. If your circle isn't inspiring you, it's limiting you, it's limiting you. You can't keep surrounding yourself with people who complain about everything and expect to stay motivated. You can't keep hanging out with people who make excuses and expect to stay focused. The energy around you feeds your spirit, so feed it wisely. Surrounding yourself with greatness doesn't mean abandoning people who love you. It means protecting your purpose. There's a difference between loyalty and limitation. Sometimes the people who love you the most may not understand your vision. They might tell you to slow down, to play it safe, to stop dreaming so big. But remember this, comfort is the enemy of greatness. Don't let someone else's fear become your ceiling. You can love people from a distance and still stay true to your goals. Protect your energy like it's your most valuable resource. Because it is. Greatness isn't just about success. It's about mindset, discipline, and growth. When you surround yourself with people who hold themselves to a high standard, it naturally elevates yours. You start to notice how they move, how they think, how they speak. You absorb their habits. You learn from their mindset. You start demanding more from yourself because you see what's possible. If you're the smartest, strongest, most driven person in your circle, then your circle is too small. You need people who make you feel challenged, not comfortable. Growth doesn't happen in ease. It happens in environments that stretch you. There's a saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Life is not meant to be conquered in isolation. Every successful person you admire has had a circle that supported, challenged, and guided them. Michael Jordan had coaches and teammates who pushed him to greatness. Steve Jobs had visionaries around him who helped turn ideas into innovations. Even Eric Thomas had mentors and supporters who believed in his message before the world did. You need people who see your potential, even when you can. You need people who remind you who you are when you forget. But here's the truth. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Some people only take. They drain your motivation with gossip, negativity, or laziness. You have to learn to recognize who's adding value and who's subtracting it. Surround yourself with people who inspire action, not excuses. People who don't just talk about goals, but live them. People who hold you accountable, who check you when you slack off, who celebrate your wins without jealousy, and who remind you that you can do better when you fall short. That's real friendship. That's real greatness. It's also important to understand that surrounding yourself with greatness doesn't always mean physical proximity. You can learn from greatness through books, podcasts, mentors, or even role models you've never met. If you can't find people in your environment who inspire you, create that environment yourself. Listen to voices that feed your soul. Watch content that challenges your thinking. Study the greats, not to imitate them, but to understand the mindset that made them unbreakable. You don't have to wait to be in a great room. You can build greatness inside you by what you consume daily. Sometimes when you begin to surround yourself with greatness, you'll lose people, and that's okay. Growth often requires separation. You can't rise while holding on to everyone. It's comfortable staying low. Some relationships are meant for certain seasons of your life. As you evolve, your circle must evolve too. Don't feel guilty for outgrowing environments that no longer serve your purpose. The goal isn't to be better than anyone. It's to become the best version of yourself. And sometimes that version requires new company. There's also another layer to surrounding yourself with greatness. It's not just about what you receive, but what you contribute. If you want to attract great people, you must also be great. You must bring value, energy, positivity, and accountability into your circle. Be the person who uplifts others, who encourages dreams, who supports growth. When you elevate others, you elevate yourself. Greatness isn't selfish, it's contagious. It multiplies when shared. When you start surrounding yourself with greatness, something incredible happens. You begin to raise your standards naturally. You start expecting more from yourself and less from luck. You stop tolerating mediocrity, negativity, and laziness. You begin to feel uncomfortable staying the same. And that discomfort is a sign that you're growing. You start realizing that your time is valuable, your energy is sacred, and your potential is limitless. Imagine spending time with people who talk about ideas instead of gossip, who challenge you to execute instead of complain, who celebrate growth instead of settling for excuses. That kind of environment changes your life. It gives you momentum, clarity, and confidence. You stop doubting what's possible because you see it every day in the people around you. You realize that greatness isn't distant, it's achievable. It's something you can build, live, and breathe if you're around the right people. Eric Thomas always says, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That means if you want to rise strong, you have to raise your average. You have to choose who you allow in your circle intentionally. Every voice you hear, every conversation you engage in, every piece of energy you absorb, it's all shaping you. Ask yourself, are the people around me feeding my fire or draining it? Are they pushing me forward or holding me back? Because the truth is, greatness is not just achieved, it's absorbed. It's caught through association, through energy, through influence. When you walk with people who are hungry for growth, their hunger becomes yours. When you surround yourself with people who refuse to quit, their resilience rubs off on you. That's how iron sharpens iron. You become sharper, stronger, and more focused simply by being around others who live with purpose. So choose your circle like your life depends on it, because it does. Your future, your growth, your success all depend on who you walk with. Don't settle for circles that keep you small. Seek out those who remind you of your greatness, who hold you accountable to your potential, and who love you enough to push you forward even when it's uncomfortable. And when you find that circle, protect it, nurture it, be grateful for it. Because greatness doesn't just build itself, it's built in environments of faith, hunger, support, and challenge. Surround yourself with greatness, and you'll never have to chase success again. It will become your lifestyle, it will become your identity, it will become who you are. When you rise with great people beside you, you rise stronger, faster, and higher. And in the process, you become the same kind of person for someone else. Like a light, a leader, a source of inspiration. Because when you surround yourself with greatness, you don't just find strength, you become it. Turn setbacks into setups is one of the most powerful lessons life can teach you. Every single person who has ever achieved greatness has faced moments of failure, rejection, disappointment, and heartbreak. The difference between those who stay down and those who rise strong isn't the absence of struggle. It's the ability to transform that struggle into strength. Setbacks are not the end. They are part of the process. They are life's way of preparing you. shaping you and testing whether you're truly ready for the blessings you've been asking for. What looks like a dead end can actually be a doorway to something greater, if you have the mindset to see it that way. Eric Thomas often says, don't cry to quit, cry to keep going. That's because setbacks will come and they will hurt. You'll experience moments where everything you planned falls apart, where people you trusted let you down, where your dreams seem too far away to reach. But in those very moments, you are being refined, not destroyed. You're being stretched so that you can grow into the person your purpose requires. Every delay has a reason. Every closed door has a lesson. The question is, are you willing to look beyond the pain to see the preparation? Setbacks are teachers. They reveal things about yourself that success never could. When things go wrong, you find out how strong your faith really is, how deep your perseverance runs, and how much you truly believe in your purpose. You learn whether you're motivated by circumstances or commitment. When everything is easy, it's simple to stay positive. But when you face loss, rejection, or defeat, that's when your real character shows. And that's where growth happens. Every successful person has a story of failure that turned into a setup for greatness. Michael Jordan didn't make his high school basketball team, but that failure fueled his determination to become one of the greatest athletes of all time. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper job because his editor said he lacked creativity. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. Sure wasn't fit for television. Steve Jobs was fired from the very company he founded, only to return years later and make it one of the most powerful brands in the world. These stories aren't coincidences. They are evidence that setbacks don't define your destination. Your response does. When life knocks you down, you have two choices. You can stay on the ground, or you can rise and use that fall as momentum to climb higher. Setbacks can make you bitter, or they can make you better. The difference lies in perspective. You have to start viewing challenges as opportunities in disguise. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because sometimes what feels like rejection is actually redirection. Sometimes you lose what you thought you wanted because life is trying to give you something better. Turning setbacks into setups requires faith in the unseen. You may not understand it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that everything you went through is preparing you for where you are. The doors that closed taught you patience. The people who left taught you independence. The moments of struggle taught you resilience. The mistakes taught you wisdom. Nothing was wasted. Every failure was fuel. Every delay was direction. Every obstacle was shaping you for your breakthrough. The truth is, most people quit right before their setup began. They give up too soon because they can't see beyond the difficulty. But greatness doesn't show up on the first try. It shows up when you fail, learn, and come back stronger. Every setback is like a seed. It looks small, buried, and lifeless, but underneath the surface, growth is happening. The roots are forming, the foundation is being built, and when the time is right, that seed breaks through the soil and rises toward the light. That's you. Every time you bounce back, you grow stronger. Every time you push through, you rise higher. But to truly turn setbacks into setups, you have to let go of the victim mindset. You can't keep blaming people, circumstances, or luck for where you are. You have to take ownership, not of what happened, but of how you respond to it. Life isn't fair, and it never will be. Some people get breaks you never will, and some situations will seem completely out of your control. But what is in your control is your mindset. You can either let setbacks define you, or you can let them develop you. You can either see yourself as a victim of the storm or as the warrior who walks through it and emerges stronger. Eric Thomas often reminds us that your attitude determines your altitude. If you approach setbacks with frustration, you'll stay stuck. But if you approach them with curiosity, you'll find lessons hidden inside the pain. Maybe the delay is teaching you patience. Maybe the loss is teaching you gratitude. Maybe the failure is teaching you humility. The key is to stop seeing setbacks as punishment and start seeing them as preparation. There's also something powerful that happens when you choose to keep going after a setback. It builds unshakable confidence. When you survive disappointment, heartbreak, or loss and still kept moving, you start realizing your true strength. You stop doubting your worth because you've proven to yourself that you can endure and overcome. Confidence isn't built in comfort, it's built in the comeback. The more setbacks you face, the more unstoppable you become because you learn that nothing can break you unless you let it. Sometimes your biggest setback comes right before your greatest breakthrough. That's life's way of testing your persistence. When things fall apart, it's not always a sign to quit. Sometimes it's a sign that you're close, but you'll never know unless you keep going. You'll never see the sunrise if you stop walking in the dark. The setup doesn't come to those who give up halfway. It comes to those who keep walking, even when the road gets rough. Setbacks also reveal who's truly with you. When you fall, pay attention to who stays and who disappears. Tough times have a way of exposing true loyalty. The ones who believe in you when you're down are the ones you want in your circle when you rise. And the ones who doubt you, mock you, or walk away, they're not your loss. They're part of your lesson. Sometimes a setback clears out the noise so that you can see who and what truly matters. Another truth about setbacks is that they can redirect your purpose. Sometimes you think you know what you want, but a setback forces you to pause and reevaluate. It pushes you to grow in new directions. What you thought was a failure might actually be the beginning of something far greater. When you change your perspective, everything changes. You begin to see that life isn't happening to you, it's happening for every experience, good or bad. It's part of your journey toward becoming who you were meant to be. It's easy to praise success, but it's the setbacks build your story. No one remembers the people who had it easy. They remember those who struggled, failed, and rose again. That's what inspires others. Your pain has a purpose beyond your understanding. Someone else might one day look at your story and say, because they didn't quit, I won't either. So when you're tempted to give up, remember that your comeback could be the light someone else needs to keep going. Turning setups also requires patience. Growth takes time. Healing takes time. Success takes time. Don't rush the process. Every step, even the ones that feel like detours, is guiding you somewhere meaningful. Trust the timing of your life. Trust the timing of your life. What's meant for you won't miss you. It might just take longer because you need to be prepared to handle it. Sometimes your setup is delayed because you're still being molded into the person who can sustain it. So when life knocks you down, don't see it as a curse. See it as a call to rise higher. When doors close, look for windows. When plans fail, make new ones. When people doubt you, let your results speak for you. Every setback carries the seed of a greater comeback. You just have to believe that your story isn't over yet, because it's not. Setbacks are the universe's way of asking, how bad do you want it? And your response will determine everything. Will you crumble or will you climb? Will you see defeat or will you see destiny? The choice is always yours. So rise up. Look at your past not as proof of failure, but as proof of strength. Every storm you survived has made you wiser, tougher, and more equipped for what's coming. You are not behind. You are being positioned. You are not broken. You are being built. You are not losing. You are learning. Every step backward can become the push that propels you forward if you choose to see it that way. Remember, a setback is not the end of your story. It's just a plot twist before the breakthrough. Keep walking, keep believing, keep fighting. Because one day you'll look back and realize that what once felt like your greatest failure was actually the moment your true journey began. Turn your setbacks into setup and rise stronger than ever. Arise strong for those who need you is a call to something greater than yourself. It's about realizing that your strength, your perseverance, and your comeback are not just for you. They're for everyone who's watching you, depending on you, and drawing hope from your story. We often think our journey is a solo mission, but in reality, our lives are deeply connected. Every time you rise after being knocked down, you give someone else permission to believe that they can do the same. Your resilience becomes a roadmap for others who are still lost in their struggle. When you rise strong, you become a light in someone else's darkness. There are people you've never met who are silently inspired by your courage. They might not say it, but they're watching how you move through pain, how you respond to rejection, how you carry yourself through storms. You may not even realize it, but your story is giving someone else strength to hold on. That's why you can't give up. Because your breakthrough might be the reason someone else finds the courage to keep fighting for theirs. Eric Thomas often says, someone's depending on you to not quit. That statement is powerful because it reminds us that purpose is bigger than pain. When you make the choice to rise strong, you're doing more than surviving, you're setting an example. Think about the people in your life, your family, your friends, your community, maybe even strangers who see your consistency and courage. You are showing them what's possible. You're proving that resilience is real. Sometimes the only thing that keeps a person going is seeing that someone else made it through something similar. When you rise, you show them that struggle doesn't have to be the end. You show them that the comeback is possible. You show them that faith and perseverance are stronger than failure. Every time you get back up, you're sending a silent message that says, if I can, can you? Rising strong for others doesn't mean pretending you're perfect or hiding your pain. It means showing up with authenticity. It means saying, and I've been hurt. Yes, I've been hurt. Yes, I failed. Yes, I've fallen. But I'm still here. People connect more with your scars than your success. Scars tell stories of survival. They prove you've been through the fire and made it out stronger. When you rise strong, you give others permission to heal, to grow, and to believe that they can too. Sometimes we think we have nothing left to give, but even in our weakness, we can inspire. The fact that you keep going, even when it hurts, is powerful. You don't have to be famous, rich, or perfect to make an impact. You just have to be real. You just have to keep showing up because people are not inspired by perfection. They're inspired by persistence. They're moved by ordinary people doing extraordinary things, like choosing to rise after being broken. Rising for others also means becoming a source of hope in your community. Maybe there's a young person looking up to you, trying to figure out if their dreams are possible. Maybe there's a friend who's on the verge of giving up, waiting for a reason to keep fighting. Maybe there's a family member who's struggling silently, and your strength gives them a reason to believe that life can get better. When you rise, you're not just changing your own life. You're shifting the atmosphere around you. You're planting seeds of courage, hope, and faith in others. You might not see the full impact of your rise right now, but trust that it's happening. Every act of resilience creates a ripple effect. The person who sees you overcome your battles might one day overcome theirs and inspire someone else to do the same. That's how legacies are built. Not through words alone, but through the way you live, the way you love, and the way you refuse to quit. But to rise strong for others, you must first learn to rise for yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't lead others to strength if you've given up on your own. This means taking care of your mind, your heart, and your spirit. It means believing in your purpose, even when the path isn't clear. You have to feed your own fire so you can light the way for others. Rising strong isn't about having all the answers. It's about refusing to stay down when life tries to knock you out. There will be days when you feel tired, unmotivated, or lost. That's okay. Even strong people have weak moments. But remind yourself of who's counting on you. Maybe it's your younger sibling who looks up to you, your parents who sacrifice for you, or your future self who deserves the life you're building. Think of them when you want to quit. Let their presence push you forward. Let their faith in you become fuel. Sometimes rising strong means breaking generational cycles. Maybe you come from a family or environment where giving up was normal, where dreams died young, and where pain was passed down. You have the power to change that. You can be the one who says, the cycle stops with me. You can rise not only for yourself, but for those who came before you and those who will come after. Your resilience becomes a legacy. Your rise becomes a revolution. When you rise, you're teaching the next generation what strength looks like. You're showing them that adversity doesn't have to define them. That struggle can become strength, and that pain can produce power. They'll look at your journey and understand that success isn't about never falling. It's about never staying down. You become proof that greatness comes from persistence, not perfection. Sometimes rising strong also means forgiving those who hurt you, not for them, but for yourself and for those watching you. Forgiveness is one of the hardest yet most freeing acts of strength. When people see you rise above hate, anger, or bitterness, they learn that true strength is not just physical. It's emotional and spiritual. It's the ability to move forward without letting the past poison your purpose. You don't have to shout your comeback from the rooftops. Sometimes your silent resilience speaks louder than words. The way you keep showing up, the way you keep believing, And the way you keep walking forward, even when you're uncertain, that's power. That's influence, that's leadership. To rise strong for others, you must remember that leadership isn't about titles. It's about example. True leaders rise first and lift others as they go. They lead by enduring, and by demonstrating what's possible. Even if no one thanks you, even if no one acknowledges your effort, know that you are making a difference simply by refusing to quit. The world needs more examples of resilience. It needs more people who stand tall in the face of difficulty, who choose hope over despair, who refuse to let life's weight crush their spirit. When you rise, you're adding light to a world that's often dark. You're showing others that it's possible to live with purpose, even in pain. Rising strong for others doesn't mean you'll always have it all together. It means you rise with honesty, humility, and heart. You admit your struggles, but you don't let them stop you. You cry if you need to, but you keep walking. You bend, but you don't break. That's what inspires others. People don't need to see perfection. They need to see perseverance. Sometimes your rise won't be visible. You might not get applause or recognition. You might feel like no one notices your hard work. But understand this, the rise isn't about being seen, it's about being significant. Impact doesn't always make noise. Sometimes the quietest battles produce the loudest victories. There will come a day when someone will come to you and say, because you didn't quit, I didn't either. And in that moment, you'll realize that every tear, every setback, every long night was worth it, because your strength became someone else's survival guide. So rise strong, not just for yourself, but for the people you love, for the dreams you're carrying, and for the generations watching you. Rise because your example could save someone else from giving up. Rise because your story could change a life. Rise because the world needs what only you can give. No matter how many times you fall, no matter how dark it gets, remember, your rise has purpose. You are not fighting alone. You are part of a bigger picture, part of a chain of resilience that connects humanity. And when you choose to rise strong, you don't just change your story. You give others permission to rewrite theirs too. Rise strong for those who need you. Rise strong because you can. Rise strong because your strength echoes beyond your lifetime. Your comeback is not just your victory, it's a gift to the world. Every great story has a turning point. The moment where everything changes, where the person who was once broken decides to rise, where the one who was once silent finds their voice, and where defeat turns into determination. That's the heart of Raise Up and Rise Strong. This speech was never about perfection or an easy life. It was about transformation. It was about discovering a strength that has always been inside you, waiting to be awakened. It's about understanding that no matter what you've been through, no matter how many times you've fallen, you still have the power to stand up and rewrite your story. When you decide to raise up and rise strong, you're not just fighting for success. You're fighting for your identity, your purpose, and your legacy. You're fighting against a version of yourself that doubts, that fears, that hesitates. You're fighting to become the person you were always meant to be. And that journey is not easy. It will demand courage, consistency, and an unshakable belief that your best days are not behind you. They're ahead of you. The truth is, life will never stop testing you. There will always be challenges, always be moments where you question if you're enough, if you're doing the right thing, if it's worth it. But strength isn't built in comfort, it's built in resistance. The same way a diamond is formed under pressure, your greatness is being shaped in the moments you feel like giving up. Every trial is preparing you for triumph. Every setback is setting you up for a stronger comeback. Every tear you've cried is watering the seed of your next victory. Rising strong means refusing to be defined by what broke you. It means using the pain, the failure, the heartbreak as fuel to become something greater. You see, your struggles don't disqualify you, they qualify you. They give you wisdom, empathy, and depth. They shape you into someone who can handle success with gratitude and humility. When you rise strong, you're not just getting back on your feet. You're standing taller, wiser, and more powerful than before. Eric Thomas once said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. That quote captures the essence of rising strong. It's about hunger. The hunger to grow, to change, to live your purpose. It's about refusing to stay average when greatness is calling your name. It's about doing the work every single day, even when no one is watching, even when the world doesn't believe in you. Because the truth is, it's not the crowd's applause that builds you, it's your commitment to keep moving forward in silence until the world can't ignore your results. Rising strong is not a one-time decision, it's a daily practice. Every morning you wake up, you have two choices: to let life happen to you or to take control of your destiny. You have to make a decision to raise your standards, to think higher, to believe deeper, to act stronger. Because life won't hand you your dreams. You have to fight for them. And the fight will test everything in you: your patience, your endurance, your faith. But if you can hold on, if you can keep showing up, you'll discover that the strength you were looking for was already inside you all along. There will be times when you walk alone, times when people don't understand your vision or support your mission. Don't let loneliness make you lose focus. Sometimes separation is elevation. Sometimes God isolates you so he can prepare you. The world may not see your worth yet, but that doesn't mean you don't have it. You don't need validation from others to know that you're chosen for greatness. Keep working, keep believing, keep rising. And as you rise, never forget where you came from. The strength that got you here was built through struggle. Let that keep you humble. Because rising strong isn't about showing off, it's about showing others what's possible. It's about lifting others as you climb, about being a light in a world that's often dark. True strength is not selfish. It inspires, it uplifts, and it heals. Your story might be the reason someone else finds hope. So tell it, lively. Let your life be the evidence that resilience is real. Sometimes rising strong will mean starting over from zero. That can be terrifying. But every ending is also a new beginning. The people who make it far in life are not the ones who never fall. They're the ones who never stop getting back up. Every time you stand after a fall, you build faith. Every time you try again, you build courage. And every time you believe again, you build character. That's what a rise strong really means. It's not about the win. It's about the warrior you become along the way. As you stand at the end of this journey, remember this: you were never meant to live small. You were never meant to live in fear. You were created to rise, to lead, to shine. There is power inside you that has yet to be discovered, strength that has yet to be tested, and purpose that has yet to be fulfilled. Don't let the world convince you that you're not enough. You have everything it takes. You just have to believe it, live it, and walk in it. The world doesn't need another person who plays it safe. It needs people who are willing to rise strong, despite their scars, who lead with heart, who fight for what's right, who live with passion. Be that person. Be the one who breaks barriers, who defies the odds, who turns pain into power and setbacks into comebacks. Be the one who refuses to stay down. Because every time you rise, you send a message to your enemies, to your doubts, to your fears, that you will not be defeated. Rising strong is not just about what you gain. It's about what you give. It's about leaving something behind for those who come after you. Legacy is not built in a day. It's built through consistent choices, through daily acts of courage, through moments when you choose to rise instead of retreat. Your rise is someone else's hope, someone else's lesson, someone else's life. That's why you can't quit. That's why you must keep going, because your story is not over yet. As you move forward from here, carry this truth with you. Life will not always be easy, but it will always be worth it if you keep rising. There will be moments of doubt, but also moments of glory. There will be days you question yourself, but also days you surprise yourself. Don't rush the process. Growth takes time, strength takes time, healing takes time, but every step you take, no matter how small, is progress. So stand tall, lift your head, breathe deep. Remind yourself that you have survived everything that was meant to destroy you. You have walked through fire and come out refined, not burned. You have faced storms and still found your way. You have fallen, but you have risen again. And that makes you unstoppable. Raise up and rise strong, not just once, but for a lifetime. Rise every morning with purpose. Rise every day with faith. Rise every time life tries to break you. Because your story is not about how many times you've fallen. It's about how many times you've had the courage to stand back up. You are not a product of your past. You are a promise of your future. This is your time. This is your season. You've cried enough, doubted enough, waited enough. Now it's time to rise boldly, fiercely, and unapologetically. Rise for yourself. Rise for those who believe in you. Rise for the dreams that still live inside you. Rise for the generations watching you. Rise until your strength becomes your signature and your story becomes someone else's inspiration. Because at the end of it all, the world doesn't remember the ones who stayed down. It remembers the ones who rose. And you, my friend, were born to rise strong.